18, 19 years old, when I was just getting started, I had a lot of the mental stuff that I was working on, like the meditation, vision board, whatever. My body was not there. Eating terrible, dehydrated, didn't even realize it. My gut health was awful. There's a lot. So let me first just tell my story, and then through that, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of like small things, and we'll dive into whatever those things are. So I'll just say how it was and how it is today. And it's not perfect today, but it's like light years ahead of where it was. So 18/19, 18/19. So it's like up late. That's the first problem. Always up late, like pretty much consistently up past 11 p.m., maybe 11:30, like without exception. At least twice a week, I'd be up till like 1 or 2 a.m., at least twice a week, doing whatever, right? The next one was I ate junk food, like all the time. A day wouldn't go by where I didn't eat something that doesn't serve my body. And then lastly, just like low energy. So up late, junk food, low energy, didn't even understand the importance of this stuff. So now today, 23, and I mean, I'm in bed and I get great sleep every night. Like, I don't think I've gotten bad sleep in over a year. I get good sleep pretty much every night. Now, of course, I don't have kids yet, right? So it's probably something that I'll learn at that point. But considering the jump, you know, something is there. Good energy pretty much every day. I don't have that 1 or 2 p.m. fog pretty much ever. I mean, I'm good to go until 5 or 6 like every single day. Just high vitality, high motivation. I get a good workout every time I work out. And more than that, I mean, you know, I've really, when it comes to body optimization, you're just trying to get this thing out of the way. You know what I mean? You're just trying to like the increase is only to the degree that you can get it to stop bugging you, basically. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what we're gonna talk about, is all of this. So as a principle with body, you gotta think about how your body's just a system, right? So whatever you put into it is whatever comes out of it in every way. So like, you should try it sometime. Like, eat a bunch of sugary junk food snacks for like 4 days, and then try to have a good work day. It's impossible. You just can't do it, right? But again, people forget this body, you know, mind and soul connection. They just totally forget this and they neglect it. So, how do you guys want to attack this? Where do you want to start?
I'm curious about diet in terms of, you mentioned like protein only. Like, do you do that intentionally in the middle of the day to not have that like insulin crash with the carbs and everything?
Yeah, yep, exactly. Avoiding insulin crash with carbs. I don't have any carbs until like later in the evening. So carbs are a dinner thing only.
Gotcha.
That doesn't include sugar, because that's a quickly processed carb. So like with this orange juice we just drank, that's chill. But if there was like bread with this meal, I wouldn't have eaten it, because it just like, you insulin crash. Yeah. So there's a lot of science of all this, but I'll tell you the 80-20. You know what I mean? Like the little things that made the most difference. First is no carbs until the evening. Carbs are out until the evening. That's huge. Like, crazy difference. Make you so tired. Excluding sugar, because sugar processes so quick. Like, you drink a sugary drink first thing in the morning, you feel that in like 2 minutes, right? Everybody can agree with that. So get rid of carbs until the evening, and it sounds small, but it's really not. Like, our culture has just forgotten that that when we eat something, it does something to our body. Like, we just forget those relationships for some reason. So no carbs. I also don't eat any breakfast. I don't have breakfast, because your gut, you think about the amount of energy it spends digesting that food. It's so hard to do quality Q2 work first thing in the day when I've already got fog from digesting. It's really, really difficult. And this might not be true for everybody, but I'm a very low body fat percentage individual. I've always been that way. And in that, like, my body just processes things so freaking quick. Like, I'll eat, and then within a half hour I have to poop. Like, it's just, right through. Now that has a lot to do with gut health, which is something we could talk about here in a sec. I took a gut test, a gut biome test, and like saw like what foods mess up my gut. And once I started like getting rid of those foods that hurt my gut, then I literally processed food like 6 times faster and got more nutrients from them too. So then when I eat healthy, I actually get all the benefits of eating healthy. So some people don't even realize that when they eat healthy, it's not changing anything because their gut biome is so messed up.
Where did you get that test done?
It's called a Viome, is the name of the company. You can order a test kit, you spit into it, ship it to them, they ship it back to you, and they'll tell you all this information. Yeah, it was so good.
Was it accurate, you found?
Yeah, super accurate. Yeah, it tells you all these foods that you spit in the tube, and I did it like 2 years ago. So it's been a while. I should probably do it again, honestly. So I might actually do it again now that we're talking about it, because it's been too long. Spit in a tube and you answer a bunch of questions. And like, I don't know if they still ask questions or if they still spit in the tube, I have no idea. It might be a different process now. But I spit in the tube, answered, like one question was like, about what time in the day do you feel like you could take a nap, right? It's like around like 1 or 2, I could probably take a nap. Now, I literally don't feel the need for a nap ever. Like I just don't, like I'm good. Pretty much all day. So that's huge, and it has a lot to do with gut. But anyway, no breakfast, no carbs, do a gut test, identify the food groups that your gut doesn't align with, cut them out of your diet. You will get so much more energy from the foods you eat. So much more energy. And it's crazy, like there's just this concept of energy. For me, it was certain meats like it's like pork or something like this, and then it was like there were certain spices. I can't remember the list. It's been a minute. I could find it though. It was just really niche stuff, and then certain food groups. Like I mean, it's what told me to stop eating so many carbs, honestly. But that's true for most people. Yeah. So it was like certain minute spices as well as like garlic. It was like, do not eat garlic. My gut hates garlic, yeah. If I eat garlic, I just get like, I want to be like TMI, like gassy and like, you know? And like that burns a lot of energy, garlic. Yeah, oh tons. Your gut, besides your brain, is the most caloric intensive set of organs in your entire body. Yeah, so your brain and your gut are spending most of the calories outside of your muscles and actually the movement of your physical body. Your gut and your brain are spending calories. And to reinforce the brain spending calories thing, like, you understand, calories equal energy. Calories are our body's form of energy, and energy is required to make like good decisions and do good work, right? And your brain and your gut, it's like intestines, burn calories. So just simply put, like, if you don't have energy, you can't do any good work. It's just that simple. And your brain, like, record-setting chess players, or like world champion chess players, actually burn like 6,000 calories in a round of like 6 hours, 5 hours. Like they burn a ton of calories because their brain's processing. And that's what you want. You want your brain to be able to have the energy to process complex things. If you're gonna do Q2 work all day, you have to be a visionary. You have to think bigger, right? And so if you're eating like Skittles in the morning, you literally can't do good Q2 work, right? You probably can, but it's just gonna be so much more limited in your capacity to do so. So these are just simple things that I've done.
Not only that, but gut health is directly related to brain health. So when we have things going on, parasites or microbiome stuff, it makes it almost impossible for your brain to function correctly. And there's
A lot of mental health comes from gut health issues.
Depression and other things
Depression.
are related to things going on in your gut.
Yep. Depression, anxiety.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of it's gut health.
Yeah. I actually took a really intense gut health test recently and found that there was some type of parasite in there, and I've been working on getting rid of it.
Yep.
Because that's just like draining on my system.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, because I went to Africa, I live in Mexico, like there's just stuff out there in the world that you would never know. Like what have you picked up?
Yep. Well, again, it's coming back to what we started today off with. There's like there's 2 directions you can go. You can go into the business and try and spot leverage points over there, and if you do, enact it immediately. But most of the time when I talk about this other stuff, there's like a million obvious things to change. You know what I mean? So if we're looking for leveraged things to do, this is like a really easy place to look. Yeah, to find leverage. So, cool. So that's gut, that's body. You got to, every single day, have some form of heart rate increase. Like, I just don't care what it is. So like, I go to the gym and I work out every single day. Like every single day I do strength training. So I go hit the weights pretty much every day. Some people, you know, like they're bodybuilders, and so they do the rest thing and they let their muscles recover. I don't, because I'm not going to gain muscle. I like hitting the gym, doing weights, because it just makes me feel strong, like it's manly, and I do like being strong. But it gets my heart, you know, to increase. You want that to be like at least 30 minutes a day of just like heart rate increase. And then if you're doing that, you're good. If you're doing gut stuff, eating clean, you've taken a gut test, you're getting your heart rate up. Last thing is staying hydrated. If you're doing those things, you are ahead of like 95% of the population. Yeah. And it will shock you how different your reality is 60 days into doing some of this stuff. Yeah. And the no food in the mornings thing, like I wasn't always that way. I actually used to eat cereal first thing. Yeah. Carbs, sugar, fats from the milk, a little bit of protein from the milk, but like next to no reason to eat that. It was like Frosted Flakes or like freaking Lucky Charms or whatever. Yeah, so stupid. Like that was 18, 19-year-old me. I was trying to do all this productive work in the business, and then like I was starting my day with cereal. Like, yeah, so, yeah.
One note on the hydration thing. So there's this product that I really like called Element, and it's electrolytes, and it has like some sodium, potassium, and just a few other like really basic but really clean, simple things in there. And it's just a really easy way to get way more hydrated. So just like pouring that in your water, no sugar.
It's like electrolytes?
Yeah, it's electrolytes. It's electrolyte powder.
Like a little packet, or?
Yeah, it's a little pack. I think I actually have one. But,
Yeah.
It's just LMN.
Do you think most electrolyte drinks are kind of the same, or what do you think on that, Jordan?
I don't know, man. This one's just like highly recommended, super clean, and really,
Yeah. Nice.
really tastes really good too.
Yeah. So like the three major components of body, I would say, are heart health, which is like exercise primarily. You want to get your heart rate up. Food, and like what you eat, and when you eat it, and why you're eating it. Like most people just eat and they don't even ask why they're eating this thing, which you really don't want that to rub off on you. So heart, food, and food and gut are pretty closely related, but gut too. So like heart, food, gut. Oh, and then sleep. Yeah. So heart health, get your heart up. Eat clean, don't eat any carbs until later in the day. It's gonna be super hard for the first like week, because like you're gonna really, 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 really crave carbs.
Like what would you eat for lunch?
Eggs, something high protein. Proteins, fats, I'll eat like eggs with slices of avocado. I eat that a lot. Eggs and avocado, no bread. No bread. Yeah. Eggs with some cheese on them and avocado slices. Yeah. No rice. Okay. No. I mean, rice you can kind of get away with because it's a really complex carb. It processes way slower, but it's not like eating a bunch of bread. Like you eat a bunch of bread, nobody in this room can eat a big old handful of bread and not feel sluggish.
Sandwich, like thick bread.
Yeah, oh gosh, dude. Yeah. Yep. So we've talked heart, food, gut, take a gut test, don't eat the foods. For sleep, have the same wake and sleep time. Just try to stay within an hour at least. Just get really consistent about that. And these things sound hard to do all together, but if you just prioritize them for 30 days, maybe 60 days, it starts to get way easier and the rewards are insane. So that. Same wake and start time, sleep cold. Get your room cold. Really, 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 really helps with your sleep to have a cold room. And then shower before bed. Shower before bed helps a ton with your sleep. If you're clean when you sleep so much better. Yeah. I don't know what the science is. I read up on it at one point, but it's something to do with like literally the cleanliness of your skin, and like brush your teeth, shower, shampoo my head, everything. Nice and clean. I go to bed a little like a little damp, the room's chilly, I cool off really easily. Part of why a lot of people would take forever to fall asleep is because they have to cool down. Your body actually cools down when you sleep. So if you just are already a little damp, you're clean, the room's cold, you just fall asleep like a baby. Yeah. So that. And then if you do this, like, again, you know, everything is energy. And our bodies are a constraint that, like, we're stuck within. We can't get out of our bodies, so we might as well optimize them, right? So, yeah. That's what I've learned. So that's the difference between 17, 18-year-old Trey and like 23-year-old Trey is the stuff we just talked about. And that's why I can just run for like 12 hours clean. Yeah. It's not perfect, but most of the time I can, yeah.
Do you shower again the next day after the gym?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You wanna be as clean as possible always. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just rinse off after the gym. You don't gotta go crazy, like at least at the very least. Like,
Yeah, just rinse the junk off you.
just rinse off. Yeah, you don't gotta go like wash your hair twice a day.
Yeah. I will say some of my best work days have been days where I haven't had time. I just come home from the gym, I smelled like terrible, and I'm just like, yeah. I mean, it's rare when I do that, but it has happened before. Yeah.
One thing I was gonna add in about the sleep thing, cooling down, but also your heart rate also has to lower a lot too.
Yeah.
So I found if you do like a 20-minute meditation before bed, it really can speed up the time you fall asleep. And I have a really hard time falling asleep, so like it's something that I've found that helps a lot.
No caffeine past noon. Huge for sleep. Freaking massive for sleep. No caffeine past noon. The reason why I'm totally fine with doing like an energy drink or like Bang Energy or like one of those Monster Zeros or whatever, like it's whatever, is because I just use it for my workout. Like I get in there, I get a workout in, and if you can work out without caffeine, do it. But for me, when I have some caffeine, I just get a better workout all the way through. I feel amazing that day, so I do it. But I do not drink caffeine past 12, to the point where like, you know, there's a little bit of caffeine in chocolate. Like just a little bit of chocolate. Like if you have chocolate before you go to bed, you're screwed. Yeah. So don't do that. Yeah. No caffeine past 12 p.m., which is noon, not, midnight. Is that technically 12 p.m., not a.m.? Yeah, it is. Yeah, so no caffeine past noon. Strict rule for me, yeah. Because I'm 5'8", and I weigh like 142 pounds soaking wet. Like, I'm a tiny person. So like if I have caffeine, plus my metabolism and like my gut health, it just processes so quick, I'm buzzing. Yeah, not everybody is, but I definitely am. And don't give me that shit that like, oh, but caffeine has the opposite effect on me, because no, it doesn't. Like everybody responds to caffeine. Everybody. Yeah. So there's that.
Even if you do sleep, it's not gonna be good. You're
No.
not gonna stay asleep. So
No.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be good sleep. You're not gonna get REM sleep. Yeah. So that's that. That's body.
I would add also trying to get off of screens before bed, like at least an hour or maybe 2 hours before, if possible.
That's good.
I'm not as diligent about that, actually. I probably should be more diligent about that. But I'm not, and I haven't really seen much of an effect, to be completely honest. Now, granted, I have an app where it like turns the whole screen like orange and the brightness is really low. So, yeah.
What is that app?
Let me check. Actually, like I said, this is a new phone, so let me see if I even still have it.
I think it's a native setting now.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Oh,
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I can blue light.
It's-
I can also show you guys a setting where you can make your screen like really, really dark.
Yeah.
It's built in. But
It's like
you can,
red, right? There's like zero blue light coming out of it.
It's not just the color; it's the brightness. Like you can make your screen like where you're in the pitch black room and you can barely see it.
It's called Night Shift. It's called Night Shift on iPhone. That's the name of the built-in feature. But the app that I got was called something different. But again, I just replaced this week, so let me check. It's like I have it on my computer. It's the same. I'll get it to you guys later. It's the same app. It just dims your screen, turns it orange, like because when your eyes see blue light, it slows down melatonin production. Yeah, so it's harder to sleep. So yeah, that's body. It's super simple. Easy said, hard to do if you're trying to uproot a lot of bad habits. Yeah, but like when you just get into that place of having these good habits, like, dude, you are just a machine. Yeah. It gives you such a long-term advantage. So yeah, for person.
For sleep, you just lay down and just, or you're on your phone and you just lay down and you're just like, all right, I gotta start laying down.
No, my phone's typically, I mean, it's typically in the bedroom on the nightstand.
That's where mine is too.
Yeah, but I just like don't have any reason to check it, so I don't.
Yeah.
It just kind of sits there and yeah. But honestly, I probably could benefit from moving it to the other side of the room. Yeah, I'm not perfect about that. That's probably one area where I could be better, honestly, is with the screen habits at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that gets me. Yeah.
It does get me too, yeah.
But I'm not up till 2 a.m. or anything. It just is in the same room. Yeah.
Do you check your phone first thing in the morning when you wake up?
No, not really. Sometimes. It kind of depends on the season. Recently, I haven't been. But if I'm like in this, like sometimes my days just blend together. Like I'm working on something really important and the days just blend. You know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, I just go to sleep because I have to go to sleep and I get right back into it. You know what I mean? Like those days, yeah, I'll just get up. Like I feel like Connor's kind of there with like the new team and like you're kind of working on that. And so like when I'm in a season where there's just something really big and new, yeah, I'll just like get right back into it. But I try not to. I still try to do Q2 first thing, which is body, mind, you know, take care of myself, everything. But you don't like I'll draw like a spectrum of this stuff. Like this is like the amount of time and this is the amount of effort. Like this stuff takes a lot of effort at the start. It's really frustrating to enact these habits, but like over time it diminishes really quickly. But it's just like this is like a 30-day, maybe 60-day window for a lot of this stuff. So you can just do one at a time. You know, you don't have to be perfect at all of this, but like you just have to be conscious of this stuff at least. Yeah. So that's body. And then obviously it kind of goes without saying like don't drink alcohol generally as a rule. Just messes you up like crazy. So yeah, cool. That's body. Like you will get crazy advantages there. So we've talked mind, body, routines, go over relationships. Cool. Relationships. So how I have set up my relationships in my life is I've got me. My primary relationship is with my spouse. That takes up a majority of my headspace, honestly, is just with her. And then the rest, my next in order priority relationship is my team. And my next in order priority relationship is family, like that isn't my spouse. And my next in order primary relationship is friends. But honestly, I don't do anything casual with friends pretty much ever. Yeah, I just don't. Like, I'm pretty fulfilled here, I've got a good family life, so I just don't really hang out with friends very casually. And I don't miss it either, because nothing happens, so. But that's just me. Like, you don't have to do that. So, and then on the other side, there's the topic of like boundaries. Like, have a very, very high standard for who you let into your circle, just generally. Simple rule. But like, you know, that book, The Laws of Power, it's that guy, Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power. I didn't read the whole thing, but I remember one of the principles was like, it's kind of a sad reality, but like if somebody isn't growing with you, they just aren't allowed in. Yeah. And it just kind of sucks. But like, it's one of the sacrifices you kind of just have to pay. Yeah. And once you get comfortable letting go of people, it gets a lot easier. But it's never anything personal. It's just like, we were on the same trajectory, you kind of fell off, and it's just like, I'm not gonna take my time to recover you. I can't do that for you. Because like, the vision is much more important than pleasing everybody. And it just kind of has to be.
Yeah.
Do you feel like some of the friend kind of aspect of this falls into the place of like, if you had someone who was on a similar level, it would be easier, or you just generally don't find those?
No, I really look for people on the same level or above. I value those relationships like crazy, yeah. And those end up being like friends, if you would call it that, yes. But like, when I say friends, I kind of just mean like the casual things, like casual hangouts. Like, why? Like, you have a vision of where you're going, find people that are on that same mission or getting there that are closer than you, and invest in those relationships. Some people would call that shallow, some people would call it like whatever, they'll call it whatever, but it serves you, and it serves the mission, and it serves the vision. And to me, it's not shallow a bit, because these people I really, really, really genuinely, sincerely value, because what they've built reflects them as a person, right? So it's like I can see them through what they've made. Yeah. So like people who are on my level or above, invest into those relationships. People who over the span of 6 to 12 months have kind of fallen off a little bit, like I just send a very clear message like, hey, I'm sorry, like I've got people that are in this game with me. Yeah. So we can go any direction with this, but these are just my rules. Does this sound intense? No? Sounds pretty reasonable?
Could you break down your relationship audit thing you mentioned?
Relationship audit.
I think it was something you said. Like auditing the relationships you have in your life.
Yeah. I vaguely remember. I don't know if I use.
Maybe
You might have just been like a check, a mental kind of check thing.
maybe
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I don't know if I have like a framework for that.
Is that what you mean?
I guess you understand what I'm asking.
I do though.
For
Yes.
some reason I thought you said it. Maybe I'm honestly confusing you though.
Yeah, I may have said that. I mean, if
feel
I
like
had to audit my relationships, I would just ask my gut, like, are they going where I want to go,
Yeah.
or can we work together to get there? If yes, keep them around. If no, you can't keep them around. And what's cool is kind of like how, when you attract one client, you tend to attract more like them. It's the same thing with friends and people that you hang out with. So if you attract one person, you get a good relationship with them, they're on that path. There's no way they're on that path without having a similar standard to you, so then you end up meeting a lot more people like that. It just requires the painful ripping of roots, which was super painful for me being homeschooled, because I was so dug into my little community growing up, you know what I mean? Letting that go was super painful.
Can you explain?
Yeah, when you're homeschooled, you don't have people around you all the time. You're not just given these relationships like public schoolers are. You have to go and find them, right? And you have to go make these relationships. It takes a lot of effort. So you've put a lot of sweat equity in these other relationships to find these people and everything. You find them, you really find your tribe. Letting go of that's super, super painful. That's probably why 18, 19, I had all those bad habits though. Yeah, it's because they also had them. But when I let go of them and I created, again, kind of this concept of void. As a principle, when you create a void, one of two things can fall into this void that you create. So let's say you get rid of a lot of relationships that don't serve you. One of two things can fall in. Either A, whatever's closest, so whatever's most natural to fall in, which is not always going to serve you. It's very rare that it will, because it's not intentionally being put in there. It's just gravity. Or B, whatever you permit consciously, as long as you're willing to sustain the pain of being in void state, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. So I was in void state 19, 20, 21, 22, I would say. Because even when I was dating Lily, she wasn't my wife yet. I was reserving a certain level of emotional intimacy until I got married. That was just my personal standard. So yeah.
What about family? You can't really I distance myself from my family, but it's I'll still see them all Christmas.
Yeah, totally. So that's where it gets sticky, is because everybody's family is so different.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what to do with your family, but I can say that my family has been, it's been very turbulent and frustrating at times and hard to work with and whatever. But I see family as just a place where you can practice selfless love. That's it, which puts you in a good head frame. That's what it is. So family is a place where you can practice servanthood and selfless love. No matter how they behave, you can practice that. And by practicing that, I've found that it just gets you into a better state of mind for your work. Because it does take a lot of sacrifice to build something good. There's a lot of rewards. There's a ton of money in what I do and everything. But the money just stops mattering, and it just becomes man, I'm making so many sacrifices every freaking day. And you just have to it's a place where you can play with that and get good at that. That's what it is for me, at least. Yeah. But then again, like I said, I'm 23, no kids, newly married, so that's my perspective. Yeah. Everybody's is going to be a little bit different, but that's mine, and it works really well. So, yeah. Any questions?
So all your old friends you kind of just like cut off?
Yeah, pretty much. I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very sad because it's like I want them to, I want the best for them, you know?
Yeah.
And you always will. But some of them are just very stuck in their ways. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel like there's like a group that I had, they're very successful, like my YouTube guy and everything, and I hang around them more and talk to them more.
Yeah.
You know, I like my old friends back from like, you know, like school or whatever. It's just kind of just like, you know, like you guys just aren't really going in the same direction. I like going on vacation with them maybe once a year, but I just don't like hanging out with them like that anymore.
It just, you know, whenever you have a relationship that's still in your life, like it's kind of just it sits in the back of your head just eating RAM.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you know how computers have RAM, random access memory? It's just like the immediate backup of information that might be needed later. Yeah, it just kind of sits here and just eats. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, so.
It's, important to like actively like kind of like, hey, sorry, I can't talk to you anymore, versus like someone you haven't talked to and they're kind of in and out. You know what I'm saying?
Again, it's sticky because you know the context of your relationships way better than I do. Like this is not at all what I coach on. I can only speak from experience here, but from experience for myself, that's what I did. I said, listen, I want you to know that I love you and I respect you and I hope the best for you. This instance, and this instance of like the ways that you behaved, gave them specifics. I just can't do that because I'm doing this, and it just really feels like you're not gonna compete. Like it's gonna be competing forces at some point, and I will love you forever, but like I can't have that. So yeah, like you just gotta be direct, you know. And they're gonna take it personally, they're gonna whatever, but eventually they'll respect you for it. They will always come around to respecting you for it. Like in my life, they always have. Yeah. But that again is just, you know, that's just how I did it. Because this is not at all the realm that I like coach on or like I'm an expert in. This is just what I had to do. Yeah. Because when I first started getting some momentum, like it's like tall puppy syndrome, Australia, right? Like I started to succeed. This little group of homeschoolers in my hometown were like, oh, he thinks he's the man now, pulling me down, spreading rumors about me. Like, it's daddy's money, you know, like, this one girl, like, spread a rumor that, like, I, like, slept with her and stuff. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, so I was like, I'm out of there. So, like, when you start to break the norm of your social network, like, you're going to experience a feeling of, like, rejection because you are forcing them to come to terms with their own insufficiencies, which is very, 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 very painful. Yeah. So, yeah.
I feel like people kind of hang on to like that version of you when you were like really good friends too.
They do.
And if you're not anymore, like they still think you're that person.
Well, and then it's really terrible for your identity because you'll go back and you'll hang out with these people, and you were a person back then when you used to hang out with them. And exactly that. You hang out with them, they kind of talk to you as if you're still that person. Yeah, and then because you've only been this new person for like 2 years, 3 years, you just sink right back into that old way. And that's what it is with my family, 1,000%. So when I'm leaving my family's home, I almost have to like get back into like, wait, who am I again? Yeah.
Podcast or YouTube videos like why he doesn't go home for the holidays.
Yeah.
And that's why, because he's like, I literally have to spend 2 or 3 weeks, like when I get back to work, like figuring out who I am again. Because like it just, and he's like, they're not like mean to me or anything, it's just these like subtle ways that he communicate with me.
tiny ways.
Yeah, it's where he's like, I start to second guess myself and stuff. So he's like, I just avoid it.
Yeah,
It's
for
like
sure.
You are instead of the I am, it's you are statements.
Yeah.
I think he goes the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. There's all these little subtle ways that they'll talk to you that like do not feed the mission.
How did you get with like particularly it's like in this sort of partner relationship, like I consider my wife as like I'm 50-50 introvert extrovert.
I'm sorry, guys, I can't hear you well.
So, yeah, like introvert extrovert, plenty of friends, but I'm very like I'd say lazy and so I got other than kind of work and stuff like that. So I find that my wife is the one that organises a lot of social things without various groups of friends. Is that the same for you?
It's very
or-
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you sort of think about that?
So-
in kind of limiting like those, because I'm such a like, I'd rather stay at home and do nothing because that's my space, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't have arguments about that. It's more just like
Yeah, no,
that's
for
what I
sure.
prefer, and you know, we're not-
Like, my wife is the only place where I make exceptions. Like, just because it's like, when you get married, you just have to trust that somebody gets it. You have to, otherwise it's not going to work. So like, I'll make exceptions for her, but I will communicate like, hey, I know you want me to hang out with this person, but this person's in college to be a 9-to-5er, and they don't get what I do, and they're getting married to somebody who doesn't get it, and I know for a fact that they're asking questions when they're on the drive home, like why I am the way I am and why we are the way we are. Like, you have to decide if that's a relationship that you want in our life, considering the vision and mission that we're both on. And I just have to trust that she's on board with that. And she always is, ultimately. Yeah, because like, I did a good job at, like this, when we get into team, which I want to get into team very shortly, we'll talk about like having a vision that's big enough for your team to fit into. They can just plug right in, right? And like, it's the same with, I've found it's the same with Lily, is like, you know, if I'm just here to make bank, she can't really get behind that. You know what I mean? Just like if you're just here to make bank, like a team member can't really get behind that. Like, they're not just gonna work for you just to fill your pocket, right? Like, yeah, you're gonna make bank, but like, even if you didn't make bank, you do what you do because of a good given reason. Like, there's a mission here, right? And so when I really communicate that to her of like why we're doing what we're doing and the mission behind it, and events like this, they really cement into her why we do what we do. And I give her very open credit often for like creating the environment at home that allows me to do this. And when she hears me giving that credit, it just pushes our marriage even deeper. We have an even better, more symbiotic, synergetic relationship in regards to my work. Because I'm very open with the fact that I could not do this without her. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good to hear that, because that's probably, I think I mentioned yesterday, you know, her working was the position that she was in starting her own business venture, and how that's so positively impacted. Because now, probably without having that conversation directly, like our visions have definitely aligned so much more. And she's having a conversation with me about her environments and things like that. And it's very reciprocal. So.
Well, and I think what happens to some people is they're in a marriage where they're trying to become a new person, but that spouse doesn't see them as that yet. And so it's their own spouse that's reinforcing old beliefs. And in that situation, like I've always told people just to go get counseling and talk about this, because the spouse has probably been hurt by you in the past, or like they have a belief system about you, like they kind of refuse to let you grow. And sometimes it's out of insecurity, like it's just very sad. Like I've had to reinforce to Lily, no matter how far I go, you're the only one. No matter where I go, it's always gonna be you for the rest of my life. That's why I married you, right? So if she doesn't fully feel that way, then she won't want me to grow. Because like if you keep growing, then what does that mean about me? You know what I mean? So she has to know that I'm always here. And it's a challenge, but it's like, you know, that's how I've navigated that. Now we're newly married, but like the first 4 months honestly have been kind of turbulent. We've had a lot of issues and things we've worked through, but that's always the core. Yeah. So yeah. Any questions there? And I'm trying to speak to this with a level of humility of being new to a lot of this. You know what I mean? Like I'm new to a lot of this, still figuring it out. This is not what I've thought about for 4 years. Just now figuring it out and barely figuring it out. But I do have some things that are working for me. Yeah. So that's relationships.
What do you tell her the mission is when you talk to her?
Serve other entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Empower them, get people out of their own way. You know, she can get behind, pull potential out of people. She can't really get behind 100K months. She don't care. Yeah, money's irrelevant. As long as our bills are paid, money's irrelevant. You know what I mean? To my spouse, at least. Yeah, it might not be for every spouse. But for mine, she's like, yeah, bills are paid, we're secure, cool, whatever, let's go have dinner. You know, she doesn't care about the money. It's like, I'm here to pull people's potential out of them, and she likes that. There's like a ministry element to that almost, of like really serving people in a deep way. Yeah, and she loves that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. So that's personal life optimization. I mean, we could spend way longer talking about that in many directions, but you guys want to go into team, or are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, let's do team. Team.
Was that the T, by the way? You had like a chart. It was like a T up here. Was that the team?
Team.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and to add to the relationship, like diagram, you know, you've got team, you've got spouse, family, and friends.
Yeah.
I'd say above that as well is like mentors. Always, always, always have an active relationship with a mentor. Mentors. Mentors. Team, yeah, like this is my relationship framework. Mentors at the top. Super, super, super important relationship is your mentor. Team, spouse, family, friends. Like that's the order of importance. Like, and I don't have one mentor. They're not telling, like, I'll have mentors for even like how I'm my marriage and stuff. Not necessarily like coaches or people I pay, but like I've found men throughout my life that I admire, you know, and how they do things. So yeah.
I was curious if you, I don't know how far into it, but you said you have to work, right? Anything there that you want to share, I guess, on that? This sort of
I'm new in the relationship. Yeah, I have no idea. Super new. But it's just like learning how to scale a company, actually scale a company. Yeah. So let's talk team. So there's a lot to talk about with team. There's a ton. We could honestly spend the rest of the weekend talking about any of this stuff. So you guys tell me what you want to talk about with team.
Let's start maybe chronologically, like as in, well, for me personally, like just that first couple of hires and then you can go through that quick or whatever.
Yeah. Well, for a coaching business, the order of hires, and I've played with a lot of different orders, but the order of hires that I think is best is customer success manager first, CSM, to help you offload, you know, the responsibility of delivery, right? The next is an appointment setter, somebody to hang out on your socials and set sales calls for you. And the final one is a sales rep. So client success manager, appointment setter, sales rep, in that order. And you know, I used to think sales rep first because it takes the most time, but actually no. In the short term, it takes the most time, but also in the long term and the short term, it makes the most money. So it's the place where you can directly make your business the most money. So, but CSM, like I had Connor do this, right? CSM first, plug them into your community, get them really involved, leading calls, helping your students out, build that relationship so that you have the new space from a high level, because it's not burning RAM in the back of your brain, are my students okay, are they okay, are they okay? If anything, it's burning at least maybe 40, 50% the amount of like mental energy, so you can take that mental energy, reinvest it back into activities that get you to that next level.